Welcome back to Retirement News Online here in Scottsdale, Arizona, and right now we're talking about Social Security. Now, building a sound retirement plan is kind of like constructing a pyramid. You really can't design the upper levels without first understanding the size and strength of the foundation. And for most Americans, that foundation is Social Security. I mean, I would think everyone would agree that it's going to be a big part of many people's retirement. Now, yet despite its critical role in retirement income, Social Security remains widely misunderstood. Phil Poggi is here, who's known as the financial consigliere with Fortegic in Cincinnati, Ohio. So, what's the disconnect here as far as Social Security? I mean, the fact is that it's there to be part of someone's retirement income, but in many ways, it's going to be a big part of a lot of people's income.
Right.
Like if you don't have 2 or 3 million saved, you're going to be using Social Security.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for having me again. It's great to be here. I think the disconnect partially is people just look at the raw numbers. Right, and they don't take into account all the other factors that go into proper Social Security planning and how do you maximize, right? I mean, it's no different than your 401k. You've been paying into this system, not by choice, right? Because you have to for a number of years. So when it's time, it's like the question always becomes, how do I get the most out? How do I maximize the amount of dollars that I get back from Social Security? Because I've been putting in for 30, 40 plus years.
Right. When do you claim benefits? I read a stat that said since Social Security's inception back in the mid-30s, there's been about 3.4 trillion kind of left unclaimed or on the table because people claimed at the wrong time,
Right.
typically a little bit too early when they didn't necessarily have to. So, people don't really know what they're doing here. It's
Right.
important to have somebody help, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, my favorite response to that question is, when does somebody claim? Is it depends.
Right,
and it sounds a little coy, but you really got to take a step back and look at everybody's individual picture. I think a lot of times people just talk to their coworkers at the water cooler,
Right.
and hey, I'm going to claim at 65, or hey, I'm going to wait till 70 because I know I get the maximum benefit. Well, that may not make sense for that individual and that family. And a lot of times people don't take into account the household number. Yes, we got to look at the individual number, but we also, if you're married, you got to look at the household number, because that's going to have a greater impact. Because that, we're not all going to go at the exact same time. One of us is going to, yeah, right. I mean, this role will be easy if the man upstairs would just tell us, our expiration date, right? But he doesn't do that. So we've got to plan for, those household distributions, not just the individual distributions, right? And there are many other factors. Am I healthy? Is longevity on, my side? Maybe, do I have a disability? What other assets, do I have that maybe I can distribute at this time to allow Social Security to grow a little bit more before I take it? So again, the easy answer to that question is it depends.
And Social Security is taxed. And so that's also an issue that I don't think people think about. They've been paying into this
Right.
thing and they're going to get this check, but that's taxable income and in many ways and parts of it. So that's also a consideration, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yes, the government does give you 15% tax-free, right? But up to 85% of your Social Security can be taxed depending on how you are drawing out of income. I think, retirees' number one fear, we hear it all the time, is running out of money, right? Social Security is guaranteed income. It could be their only guaranteed source of income. And a lot of times it only makes up about 40%. How does that make you feel if only 40% of your income is guaranteed? But then you talk about taxes. The number one thing that we see that people fail to plan for in retirement is taxes. It's the number one thing they fail to plan for. They're worried about running out of money, but they fail to plan for taxes, which that can take a significant chunk out of their dollars available to them. Because it's not about how much you have, it's about how much you can put in your pocket or how much you can keep.
And then, when they think about tax planning, they're probably working with a CPA or an accountant,
Right.
which is great, and they're preparing the return. But when working with somebody like you, we have to look forward. RMDs are coming. The
Right.
government's going to get paid back at some level, and you know what? They make a lot of money on you, especially if you live a long time with RMDs.
They do.
And all this kind of works together, minimizing. It seems like in many ways, getting your maximum benefit is as much about minimizing taxes right, as it is anything else.
Yeah, I mean that is one big piece of the puzzle is minimizing those taxes, right? We're trying to draw the maximum benefit out, and we run iterations for our clients all the time. We look at, hey, what is the most optimal time to take it? What is the earliest? What does it look like if I work till 67, which potentially could be their full retirement age? Or how about if I delay two more years? At the end of the day, making a wrong claiming decision can cost you well over 6 figures.
But thank goodness the Social Security Administration is there to help you right there. They've got all the information. They can help you with the plan. And no, they can't, can they?
They cannot, and they're told not to help you. You can pick up the phone and call if you're lucky, within an hour to reach a live human being, right? They're told not to give you instructions. So if you're waiting to for your Social Security appointment, they're just going to verify the numbers that you can see. They're not going to lay out a plan for you.
That's where you come in, right?
That's right. And our team, right?
That's Phil Poggi with Fortegic in Cincinnati, Ohio. If it's anything retirement planning, financial planning, Phil and Joe Clark, his partner, are great people to talk to if you're in the Cincinnati area or any place else. We appreciate you watching Retirement News Online. Find out more at retirementnewsonline.com. See you next time.